In today's video, I want to show you my favorite bread recipe. This is one I go to often. It comes together so easy. It's basic, simple ingredients, and you can just have warm bread whenever you want it. So I hope you'll come along with me while I put this together. I have such a hard time waiting until it's cool to cut into it, and I never do wait. So I do like to just cut the end off, take a look at it, and try a little bit when it's nice and warm. That's the best time to try homemade bread. I am going to go ahead and cut a little piece off, even though it's still warm, just so we can look inside and see how it looks. This bread is delicious. This recipe calls for 2.5 cups of flour or 300 grams of flour. I like to measure it with grams. You can do the weight a little bit better. Sometimes you just pack it in a cup, you get more than 120 grams per cup. So that's what I'm doing. I will be adding a little extra flour as I go along, but this is where I like to start. Then I will pour it into the mixer. After that, I want to go ahead and get my sugar. I'm going to need 2 tablespoons of sugar. 1 teaspoon of salt. And then I put a 2 1/4 teaspoons of my yeast in there. I keep it in a jar and I keep this in my refrigerator. It stays really well. If I have a lot of it, I'll put the bulk of it in the freezer and then just get it out as I need it. And then I will need a cup of milk. I'm using 2%, but it doesn't really matter what you use. And then I'm going to put it in the microwave and just warm it up. For my microwave, it takes about almost a minute to come to 120 degrees. And then I just want to give this a good mix. And then I'll pull out the milk and I just kind of check it. Sometimes it goes faster than other times. Give it a good mix. I love this gun. I can leave a link to everything that I'm using that I think you might be interested in, but it's a great way to measure the temperature. I just keep going back and forth, checking it. And then once it hits 120 or very close to it, I will go ahead and pour it in. After I get this poured in, I'm going to add in 1 egg that is at room temperature. And then I need 2 tablespoons of avocado oil is what I like to use. And then I'm going to speed this up a little bit. I just want to add flour a little at a time until it all comes together. That is looking just exactly what I want. I'm going to just let that go for just a little bit until that gets really nice and mixed. By using your mixer, you don't have to knead it as long. I will knead it just a little bit, but the mixer does all the work, which I just love. Now I'm just going to pull it out. I'm going to dust that a little bit with some flour. I want to knead it just a little bit, and then I'm going to cover it with a bowl for 10 minutes and let it rest. And that looks good. I'm going to go ahead and sit that back on the mat and put the bowl over for 10 minutes. While I'm waiting for that, I thought I'd show you the size of pan I'm going to be using. Poured a little avocado oil in the pan. I'm going to go ahead and do all the sides, the bottom, and get it ready for the dough. And now I'm just going to get it ready for the loaf pan. Pull it out. I'm just going to kind of stretch it a little bit and kind of try to get it into the size of a loaf. This dough is so soft and will make such a nice loaf of bread. Now you just want to set it into a warm place, and I like to let it rise just a little bit above the pan. You don't want it to go too far above the pan because it's going to rise more as you cook it. I have found too, if I kind of push it a little bit once it's in the pan into the corners, it seems to work well. I want to cover it with a little bit of wax paper, and I'm just going to spray it. So if I miss it getting close to the wax paper, it won't stick and I'll be able to pull this off. A lot of times once it gets up there high enough, I like to remove the wax paper. So I'm going to try to keep an eye on it. I am going to set this in my oven with the light on. I wanted to take a little video as it was rising. About every so often I would go and look, and I definitely don't want it to get too far above there, and that looks just about perfect right there. I'm going to go ahead and get the oven to 375. It's going to cook for 30 minutes. After 15 minutes, I'm going to put this foil on it so it doesn't burn on the top. I have found if I do this to the foil first, kind of mold it, it stays on better. So I literally just make a little pocket there where it'll fit right over the bread. And now it has cooked for 15 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and put the cover on. It is all done. I'm going to let it hang out here for a minute, and then I'm going to come back and take it out. I do like to slide a knife around all the edges just to make sure it's not sticking anywhere. Once in a while I'll get a little spot that it is sticking, and then I'll just pull it out, and then I like to let it cool for a few minutes before I cut it. The bottom of it looks good. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of butter on the top of it. I like to do that. It just kind of gets rid of that flour, and it just makes it shiny, and it makes it taste good. All the reasons to do it. If you like your bread a little more brown, you could leave it in a little longer. We like it just like this, perfectly golden brown, and it is ready to be cut. It has sat for a few minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. This bread is so good. It's so nice to have homemade bread whenever you want it, and I really hope you give this recipe a try. This just turns out so good every single time. Here, I just want to show how easy it slices, even in the middle. With some loaves, I know sometimes it will smash, it won't stay together well, but this bread just stays together so well. I hope you give this recipe a try. And if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll consider subscribing and hit the like button. And I want to thank you so much for watching today.